Hello guys, Delta006 here. About 3 months ago, I went to the Aeroscopia Museum in Toulouse, France. Being located in an important place for the French aviation industry, it's no surprise that it has some important planes in it. Before entering the museum, you will notice an Airbus A400 next to the entrance. Of course, because Airbus is based nearby, there's lots of stuff about Airbus in Aeroscopia. Oh look, there's a little plane taking off over there. This is the closest I could go near the A400 because to enter it you need to book a guided tour. Sadly, we can't see the interior well from here because of this glass thing in the cargo hold. Here's a better photo of the A400 I took before arriving at the museum. Speaking of guided tours, there's another even cooler guided tour that you can take here in the Toulouse airport. In that tour, you can literally visit the Airbus factory and see how planes are made. It's called Let's Visit Airbus and it's available in English and French, and with it you can visit either the A320 or the A350 final assembly lines. And that's what I did. I went on the English tour of the A350. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to take photos for most of the tour, so I'll explain what we did on the tour using Google Drive and stock photos because I don't know how to animate. First, we got on a bus at Aeroscopia and we went to the other side of the airport, where the Airbus factory is located. From there, I was able to spot this brand new undelivered Iberia A321 XLR, which was just outside the museum. When it gets delivered to Iberia, it will be registered Echo Charlie Oscar Quebec Golf. Then we went to a viewpoint inside the A350 final assembly line, and our tour guide explained the aircraft manufacturing process and that stuff, obviously because, well, we're visiting the Airbus factory, so what else are we supposed to do? From that viewpoint, I was able to see a couple of unfinished A350s which were going to be delivered to Emirates and Air France. Then we started our way back to Aeroscopia, and when we left the Airbus site, we were finally allowed to film and take photos, and we passed near the Airbus delivery center, so I was able to capture some A320s about to be delivered to some airlines. And just after we arrived back at Aeroscopia, I spotted this Airbus Beluga taking off. And then it was finally time to enter Aeroscopia. On the left side of the entrance hall there was this A380 made out of Legos, which I found cool. Then after passing through a hallway you enter the museum's hangar. The first plane you will probably notice after coming out of that hallway is the Super Guppy. This is what was used to carry plane parts before the Airbus Beluga existed, and of course it's very big inside. Near it there are some model planes, mainly of Airbus aircraft, but take a look at this one, the A300. That one is literally behind us. The A300 was the first ever aircraft made by Airbus, and the first twin-engine wide-body aircraft ever. This one is painted like the first A300 prototype, but it actually belonged to an Indonesian airline named Sempati Air. The original one is in Munich, Germany. But first we will check out another iconic aircraft, the Concorde. One of two Concordes in this museum, in fact. Unfortunately, you can't go very close to the cockpit, unlike in the Intrepid Museum in New York, which I visited last year. I believe this was one of the Concorde prototypes, as there is some flight testing equipment in here. In the back of the cabin we do have some passenger seats, but we're not allowed to enter there. Instead, we must exit through the middle exit, and immediately after we exit we find the A300, which we're also going to enter, of course. This time we can get a closer look at the cockpit. Most of the floor is glass, so we can see all the systems, wires, hydraulic and stuff below us. There's a passenger cabin too, with both economy and business class seats. But then it gets weird because just behind the passenger cabin there's this sort of lounge area with a bed and a kitchen and a modern restroom. Why is this here on the A300 and on the museum? It makes no sense. In the back of the plane you can go outside to this viewpoint, but you can't go downstairs, so we'll have to go back to the front exit of the A300. I find it kind of cool that the window shades are still working more than 40 years later. Next to the model aircraft we saw earlier, there's this wall that shows the history of aviation. Just below the Concorde are the small French jets, the Dassault Falcon 10 and the Aerospatiale Corvette, which belong to the French Navy and Airbus respectively. Then you can go outside the hangar where you will see some ATR and Airbus aircraft. There's this ATR-72, but it's really small compared to the giant Airbus A380 next to it. Here's a closer look to the ATR-72. Behind it in the distance is its little sibling, the ATR-42. But the one everyone goes to see is the largest aircraft in Aeroscopia, the Super Jumbo, the Airbus A380. Look how large the engines are. And yes, you can go inside the A380. Under stairs to the A380, there's a model showing an A380 being built and another one that shows its interior. And after climbing 3 floors, let's board it. Some of the floor here is also glass like in the A300. Here's a crew rest area and next to it is the cockpit. In the lower deck there's a bunch of testing equipment because this was one of the A380 prototypes. The upper deck definitely has a more modern look. There's this sort of really modern business class bar and lounge next to the business class seats, of course. Behind them are the economy seats, which in my opinion don't look very comfortable. And if we go to the very back of the A380, we find the spiral staircase, which is actually just a semicircle. Just behind the A380 we find 2 other Airbus commercial jets, the A320 and the A340. Now let's head back inside. Here we can see some old fighter jets which are like 60 or 70 years old, such as this Morane-Saulnier MS-760 Paris or this F-104 Starfighter. They even have this electric Columbine MC-15 Cricri. Imagine flying inside a tiny cockpit. Now we are back outside, but on the other side of the hangar. Right here we have another Concorde, the second Concorde of this museum. This means that this museum literally has 10% of every Concorde ever made because only 20 of these were ever built. Unlike the other Concorde, this one was used for passenger flights and we can't go inside it. Over there we have the Sud Aviation Caravelle, the first French commercial aircraft powered by jet engines. This one used to belong to Air Inter, as you can see. Going inside the hangar for one last time, we're gonna check out a few more planes like this Cessna 337 Skymaster, this Mirage 3C, or even an MiG-15, a Soviet fighter jet. And that was it. On my way out, I bought this A321 XLR plushie. Look at it, it's so fluffy. Anyway, sorry for uploading this video too late. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join my Discord server, link in the description. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.